We are live here tonight, or I should say this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, at the Homestead-Miami Speedway on NASCAR Thunder 2004. For those of you that have awaited this long journey along with this should be a good one. We have a championship battle of the ages, or I should say for the ages, as we go into the Ford 400 here today. 5 drivers have a shot to win the championship. Mathematically speaking, and Dale Jr. probably has the best of those opportunities. Jr. has led for the majority of the standings over the last 9 to 10 races this season, but it was a very, very close battle leading up to that point, and Jr. still comes in with a pretty narrow margin, only 64 points ahead of Mark Martin. We'll have the points up above where my camera is for today's race, so hopefully that won't be an obstructed view, so that way you guys know and new viewers know what the point standings look like coming into the day. We will be talking about that throughout the course, because obviously the championship is the most important thing here. For our driver, Terry Labonte, we do not have a shot at the championship today. It actually was eliminated from championship contention 2 races ago, so we weren't really even racing for anything at Rockingham either. We're going to try and go for the win here today, but we're going to try to stay out of those guys' ways and hopefully race them pretty cleanly throughout. We do have payback to get on Mark Martin, I guess, though, after he took us out of the last race. So maybe we'll see some payback being stricken here. We'll just have to wait and see. Kyle Button, Cap 24, welcome to the stream. I like donuts, and NASCAR was in the stream before it started as well. But thanks for everybody tuning in. Jonathan Rogers as well, welcome. We're going to hop on into the pre-race here, hop on into the pre-race, let the MRN guys do what they do. I'll take you through today's starting lineup, and we are going to be tuning in for this one so we can get this done before the start of the actual Homestead-Miami Speedway race today.
Welcome to the Homestead-Miami Speedway for today's NASCAR Winston Cup race, the Ford 400. I'm here with Barney Hall. NASCAR ran its first race here in 1999. What do you think of this track?
Well, with the new additions this year, I expect a different race than we're used to. Usually speeds are relatively tame due to the flatness of the racetrack, but with the new banking added this year, you can expect speeds to be much, much quicker.
Tony Stewart finished poorly here in the Busch Series, but went on to win his first 2 Winston Cup races here at Homestead.
Stewart didn't really have all that stellar of a career in the Busch Series, but he sure has found his groove in the last couple of years, hasn't he?
Something a little out of the ordinary in this one for Ricky Craven.
Like how they're not even talking about the guys going for the championship today. They're talking about a couple guys that, I don't know, are outliers just because.
Terry Labonte has been working hard at qualifying all season, and it's really showing.
Man, is it paying off for those guys. Seems like each and every week that car is starting in the top 10.
Well, we did not qualify today, so that is why we are starting at the back. Yes, I will be streaming the Cup race. I'll not be streaming later tonight, no, but I will be streaming the Cup Series race at Homestead, doing a realistic broadcast along the way. We're going to take you through today's starting lineup for the final time, the final ever full race live stream on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Dale Earnhardt Jr., current points leader, will be starting on the pole. He comes in with a 64-point lead and has to finish 14th or better to win today's championship. Rusty Wallace will start outside pole in 2nd place. Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett will be in row 3. Jarrett, another one of the championship contenders. He comes in 4th on the points. He is 136 points back. 120 points back. Jeff Gordon and Robbie Gordon will be in row number 3. Gordon comes in, Jeff that is, comes in starting 5th, and he is 3rd in the championship standings, 98 points off of Dale Jr. Sterling Marlin and Matt Kenseth will be in row number 4. Kenseth has won 3 races this year, looking for a 4th. Also won the All-Star race. Bill Elliott and Hermie Sadler will be in row number 5. Bill Elliott's final career start in these NASCAR video games. Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick will be in row 6. Martin 64 points back of Dale Jr. starting outside the top 10. Jeremy Mayfield, Bobby Labonte in row number 7. Bobby Labonte, late season surge, has himself with a chance to win it all here today. He just won at Rockingham in the last race. He's 136 points back. Row number 8 is Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Mike Skinner, and Steve Park in row number 9. Ricky Rudd and Michael Waltrip in row 10. In row number 11, it'll be Johnny Benson and rookie Jamie McMurray. McMurray locked up the Rookie of the Year after that last race at Rockingham. Jack Sprague and Jerry Nadeau will be in row 12. Brett Bodine and Kenny Schrader in row 13. Bodine also making his final start in a NASCAR Classic game playthrough on the channel. Greg Biffle, Christian Fittipaldi in row 14. Our Daytona 500 winner, Ricky Craven, on the inside of row 15 with Elliott Sadler to his outside. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Green will be in row 16. Johnson's been inconsistent in qualifying this year, trying to finish off the season strong. Kevin Grubb and Ward Burton back in row 17. Ward Burton trying to cap off an amazing season for himself and that Bill Davis Racing team. He comes in 9th in the standings. Can he finish with a top 10 points run at the end of the year? Joe Nemechek and Kenny Wallace in row 18. And row number 19, it'll be Kevin LePage and Ashton Lewis. In row 20, it'll be part-time rookie driver Chase Montgomery and Jeff Burton riding the 99 for Roush Fenway. Kyle Petty and Casey Mears in row 21. And rounding out the field will be our driver, Terry Labonte. We'll try to go to the back to the front and get him a final career victory in this race today. Your fan-voted driver before the start of the season. And Labonte is the most winningest driver with 11 wins on this current 2003 season. It has been a long road that started back in mid-August. Our NASCAR Thunder 2004 playthrough. But after nearly 8 months of action, we're going to have it come to a close. We're going to see who's going to win the final race of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel with these full race live streams. Green flag in the air, realistic broadcast as always, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his quest for the championship leads him into turn 1. Casey Mears 3 wide in the middle underneath Jeff Burton, who did not take off on the initial start. And Labonte, who did take off on the initial start, who tried to get into turn 1. Labonte's got to be careful. Kyle Petty is a major rival. Kind of a wreck fest in the last race at Rockingham. What will today's race bring? We had 11 cautions in that race. .400 miles, 267 laps scheduled for today's race. 2 and 3 wide through the pack for the start of this one. Look at that, 3 wide up towards the top. Can't tell who that car is. I think it's Steve Park that about got squeezed into the wall up there. And Terry Labonte is just rolling the bottom of this racetrack right now. Can we get him his final career win in the final race of the 2003 season? Obviously, again, we'll see him in NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. That will be his final year in competitive equipment. He got his final career win in this 2003 season at Darlington. So we've already made history a couple times, getting him a couple wins after that point in the year. Michael Waltrip and Jamie McMurray, 2 drivers that were just beating up on Terry Labonte throughout the course of the last race, which eventually led to his DNF. He did get his payback on Waltrip already, and Waltrip's day came to an end early after Labonte got payback on him. Waltrip actually turned Labonte earlier in that race. So Labonte wants to make it to the end. We want to see a race for the championship as well. So key number 1, make it to the end of the race, and key number 2, go for broke if there's a shot at the win still. This is our final race on NASCAR Thunder 2004. So again, Dale Jr. has to finish 14th or better to win the championship today. That is assuming Mark Martin goes on to lead the most laps We'll pause it a handful of times throughout the course of the stream to see where everybody's running. Probably after the end of pit stops. If we get green flag stops throughout today's race. For those 5 drivers that have a shot at the championship, they have to make it to the end of the race. And for a couple of them, they might have to win today's race. Labonte is absolutely surging through this field. He's up to 20th after starting last without practice or qualifying, but that car has been very, very stable as well. Ricky Craven maybe going to try and cross over on Terry Labonte. He was looking low, couldn't actually get underneath him. R6, welcome to the stream. Labonte off to a clean start for now. Craven back to the inside. Car stable, you gotta make it looser. It's stable, but it is fast. I don't plan on making any adjustments if it runs like this for the majority of the race, unless we have problems late in the run, but that would be about it. Labonte getting blocked by McMurray. This is going to be an interesting pass for Labonte to try and get around McMurray, because McMurray will try to take a swing at him if Labonte gets underneath him. Terry does get under him. Turns 3 and 4. And there's a shot from Jamie Mack off turn 4. And Labonte clears him getting into turn 1. Trying to drive away from him now. Kurt Busch, looks like, yep, Kurt Busch in the 97 right there. If you're not on the edge, you're not going fast enough. You do not want to be on the edge in this game, let me tell you. You do not want to be on the edge in this game. It's way too hard, as it is. That's why we're not racing for the championship today. That's why we didn't win a championship in Season 1 or Season 2, unfortunately. That's why I'm not saying this is going to be... This is the final full race live stream. If we do go back to NASCAR Thunder 04, it will be way down the road. And it will be in a different capacity, but it won't be full race live streams like we're seeing this season as Waltrip door checks Labonte down the center of the corner. Shot the 5 car into the inside of the 32 now. Already in the yellow on the right side because of McMurray and Waltrip taking shots at Terry Labonte. Jimmy Johnson just kind of leading the way. Terry Labonte following him through the pack. Johnson started outside the top 35. Labonte started last, and both these Hendrick Chevrolets trying to move closer and closer to the front of the field. Wow, Robbie Gordon was really pinching Terry Labonte down, and Dale Jarrett, one of the championship front runners, has fallen back to 15th at the start of today's race. Yes, yeah, we wouldn't be doing it as a season or full races if we did. If we do go back to NASCAR Thunder 04. And the only reason I would consider going back to do something with this game is because we never won a championship with these full races. And again, this is going to be down the road. We don't know, what the channel's state will be at, of course, down the road. But I'm talking like, it's going to be down the road. So I got a lot of other stuff I have planned. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. We have a blown engine on the racetrack, our first of the day at lap 14. That driver's made his way to pit road, could not tell who it was. iRacing. that's one of the plans I have in the future. But I'm really trying to work on the commentating side of things. I'd like to try iRacing, in my free time for sure, but I'm not entirely sure when that will become a thing. Oh boy. Johnson was really crowding that right rear corner panel of Terry Labonte, getting into the corner. Made it through as well, passes Johnny Benson along the way. Benson, this is his final season in full-time Cup Series action as well. With these classic NASCAR game playthroughs, Scott Riggs takes over the 10, as we've seen so far in NASCAR 2005. Johnson just sent it into turn 1. Labonte saw that at the last second, so decided to stay high behind Ryan Newman. Jimmy gets back around him. Labonte looking for a crossover underneath the 12 and the 48. Remember, this layout with the high banking at Homestead, this is a new track in 2003 as far as the configuration goes. There was a flat Homestead-Miami Speedway used up until 2002, and then in this 2003 season was the first year of this banked racetrack, so the outside groove is not there. It is mainly a one-groove track around the bottom with the newly repaved surface. Tony Stewart, after starting third, he's outside the top 10. Sorry, actually, he's in 10th currently. Mark Martin, one of the championship contenders. Terry Labonte right behind him. Terry wants to get payback on him. I know he wanted to stay out of the championship contenders' way, but Martin wrecked Labonte out of the last race. Terry was not happy about it, as you can imagine. Even though Labonte's shot at the championship was already done going into the race anyway. Ricky Rudd currently going to get to the inside of Terry Labonte. It looked like Martin was going to try to block Rudd. But Ricky had such a big run and got underneath him as it was anyway. It's not as stable of a car as I think I've had on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Labonte on the high side right now. Going to try to get down low. Maybe he'll try to get his payback later on Martin. Martin's hugging the outside a little too much and left a lot of bottom open for Labonte to get underneath him. So Terry Labonte just going to focus on trying to drive to the front of the field for now. Picks may surprise some people in fantasy. Mine may as well. My prediction video is still currently uploading. That's why I delayed the start of the stream, hoping it would upload before that. Oh, Ricky Rudd just got into Rusty Wallace into turns 1 and 2. Shuffling Wallace out of line a little bit. I am not going to make the car looser. I'm not going to just adjust the car just because you think I'm going to. No, this car is fast. It's handling perfectly. Why would I change it? If I make it looser, it might be too loose. If it wasn't fast and stable, then yeah, I would consider trying to make a change. But it's fast. I mean, started last, and already in the first 22 laps, Labonte's driven up to 7th place. No need for an adjustment change, unless the car gets out of shape, or maybe a little too tight later in the run. Then he might consider something, but if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Oh, Ricky Rudd really squeezed Labonte there. 3 wide into turn 1. Kenseth on the outside, Labonte in the middle, Rudd was on the bottom. Ricky Rudd is making headway right now, and our pole sitter, Dale Jr., and the points leader, is falling back. Curious to know if he ended up leading a lap to get 5 bonus points. What a move! 3 wide to the bottom goes Labonte underneath Ricky Rudd and Dale Jr. Gonna pass them both. Labonte to 4th. His brother Bobby is in 3rd. Bobby was the long shot to win the championship today at 136 points back. He needs to win, and Dale Jr. is going to have to finish 38th or worse. So there's a lot in line there for Labonte. Labonte, of course, behind another 4 drivers. He's going to have to outscore them by quite a bit. But he does mathematically have a chance today, and he just is coming in off a win at Rockingham. He has also won 3 races this season. looking for a fourth. Seventh. We'll get to the lead eventually by the way it looks like. He's kind of taking his time getting through the corners as well. Jeff Gordon, another one of those championship contenders, in second place. Now he, on the other hand, 98 points back, has a little bit better chance. Bobby goes a little too wide. Terry actually went a little wider than what he wanted to, but it still gets underneath his brother in the 18, and now up to third place for Terry Labonte. Well, yeah, if we don't take the lead by the end of the first run of the race, for sure, but Labonte has a bad, fast race car. Sterling Marlin, currently the leader. He's had a lot of bad luck this season, but maybe he can get that win and finish this thing off pretty strong. Up to second place, Labonte gets around Jeff Gordon. For no practice for this race today. Really surprising. Now, in our custom schedule season, we ran Homestead in the middle of the year, and we did win that race with Greg Biffle. So I use that same setup for this one. So far, so good. Marlin's really checked out from Gordon, but Labonte is slightly closing in on him. Terry comes into this race 11th in the point standings, trying to at least get a top 10. He can move up as far as 9th in the standings at the end of today's race. The two drivers ahead of him that he can pass in the standings would be Ryan Newman and Ward Burton. With Ward Burton 10th in the points, Ryan Newman 9th. But he's going to have both those drivers and not run so hot today as well if he's going to catch them both. And we finished 9th with Greg Biffle in Season 1, so very similar seasons. We had more DNFs in Season 1 than what we had Season 2, but less wins at the same time as well, no matter what happens today. We had 14 in Season 1 with Biffle. As far as points back from the points leaders, we are a lot closer. We kind of cut that deficit in half compared to what it was in Season 1. It also kind of means that the points leaders coming into today's race didn't have quite as good of a season as what we saw in Season 1 when Ryan Newman won the championship. Battle for the lead. Labonte to the inside of Marlin off turn 2. And they'll be side by side, but boy, Labonte just pulls him even down the straightaway. Marlin could not get a run in that higher line off of turn 2, and Terry Labonte will lead his first lap of the race at the line, lap 32, as he is absolutely charged to the front of the field. Highest running driver trying to battle it out for the championship is Jeff Gordon. He is back to 4th as Ricky Rudd has just gotten around him now. Lap traffic is coming up very soon as well. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in this race today. In the middle of this first run. On the 1.5 miles with this game, it seems like that fuel window's been right around 60 to 70 laps, typically. The only race at this track this season. Guess I don't have to make it. Yeah, I figured I didn't have to. The way we were getting through that field as quickly as we did. If you guys watched the NASCAR 05 live stream last night, granted we were at a different 1.5 miles at Las Vegas, but even still, we were making adjustments all the way from the start to the finish. It was way too loose at the start, then it was way too tight. And we loosened it back up, and then for the final run we tightened it again. You can never get that perfect setup. Kevin Harvick went on to win the race. Oh, the video uploaded? Give me a second here. I need to put the thumbnail on it. I didn't think it uploaded already. Man, it did. That was quick. Wait! Sorry for this. I was supposed to catch it when it got to 50%. It was at 35 when I started the stream. I'm surprised it uploaded that quick. I thought it was going to be like another hour. All right, we're good to go now. Sorry for that. Close that out. And we are back. Well, I guess now is a good time to take a look at the race stats. Early on, I know it's a little earlier than expected. We'll check this a few more times yet today. So Labonte leading 4 laps. Sterling Marlin was able to lead 15. Dale Jr., after starting on the pole, he is back to 11th. He led the first 15 laps, it looked like, having that clean air. But once he got put back in traffic, it looks like Jr. probably has a good short run car. That's why he qualified on the pole. So problems for Dale Jr. Remember, he has to finish 14th or better to win the championship, assuming Mark Martin wins. Now, granted, Mark Martin's in 10th, but Jeff Gordon, he's fallen back to 6th. So the top 5 currently are all drivers not in the running for the championship. Bobby Labonte, he's back to 8th. And Dale Jarrett is 15th. He's the furthest back right now of the 5 drivers racing for the championship here today. Oh, contact with Kevin LePage. How did Labonte keep it off the wall? They were 3 wide into the corner. It didn't look like he got tight or overdrove it. I think it was just how narrow they were getting into the corner with going 3 wide. Bonnie to the outside of Kevin LePage now. Try and get around him. I don't know why it keeps saying I'm braking. It does that on some tracks, and I don't know why. Field got really spaced apart in the first 38 laps as well here tonight. I should say today. I'm used to saying tonight because we typically stream at night. The only time I can even stream during the day is on Sundays. Granted, it's the weekend, so it works out. Just over a 3-second lead already in this first run for Terry Labonte as well. Labonte to the outside of Kevin Grubb. Going to put him a lap down as well. Jimmy Johnson up to third. Him and Labonte are the biggest chargers of the race, with Labonte starting last and leading, and Johnson starting outside the top 35 and now leading. Or sorry, and now up to third. Obviously he's not leading. And again, a relatively clean car for Terry Labonte right now as well. A couple rookies right in front of him of Jack Sprague, Christian Fittipaldi. This is Fittipaldi's final race on the channel. Labonte to his outside. Kenny Schrader tried to pull down right inside, or to his inside, and Terry Labonte was already there. I don't think Terry really appreciated that. Trying to keep this car clean while he's out in front. I think Blaney's got a shot to win today. I think he's got a shot. He ran well at Homestead. He led 70 laps last year and finished third, but I don't see him winning. I think he'll be faster on the 550 tracks this year than anything else, because his crew, I thought, was the best of the Penske group last year on the 550 tracks. He was really close to winning a lot of those races. He had a good run at Fontana. He should have won Vegas if that caution didn't come out with 2 to go. And then Texas, he would have won if Half didn't pit from the third lane. So, I mean, those are 3 of the races that Blaney was close to winning that he didn't win last year. They were all 550 horsepower tracks. So I consider him to be a contender today. I don't see him winning, though. I'm not completely sold on him either, only because he didn't run well last week. And I thought he was going to be the best contender for the win of the Penske bunch last week. So I feel like he's the best road course racer of the 3 guys at Penske, but that just wasn't the case either for whatever reason. He very disappointed me, finishing 15th, and pretty much ran 15th to 20th the whole race. The only other thing I can think of is that damage he had, or it didn't look very visible, but when he made contact with the back of A.J. Allmendinger, when Allmendinger missed a shift right in front of him early in the race, that's the only thing, because Blaney charged in the first 5 laps from the rear of the field to about 17th or 18th, and he was basically stalled like right there the whole race. So we'll see. He's got a lot of good recent success at Homestead with running good there last year, but he's only got 2 top 10s there, so I'm not completely sold on him for running well. I think he's got a shot to run well today, but honestly, if he gets a top 10, that's a good run. You know, that's my expectations for Blaney today, is just get a top 10. I'm not saying that's a win if he gets a top 10, but it's a good run. He just needs to have a good finish, because he had bad luck in the 500, despite having a fast car in speed weeks, and then had bad luck last week as well. So he hasn't finished better than 15th. Get that first top 10 of the year, and then he can hopefully start looking at wins and races to come after that. So as a Ryan Blaney fan, that's kind of my expectations for him today. Get a top 5, even better. Get a win, heck, I'll take it. Yeah, in the chat, what are your predictions for today's race? I know my predictions video just came out, so hopefully you guys leave your comments there as well, but who do you think is going to win today's race? My pick is in that video. I will announce my pick at the end of the stream anyway, but Justin Sozio, welcome to the stream. Lap 50 already in today's race. We've had 3 races go caution-free. Final race of the year. A lot of those drivers don't want to be around the leaders, or I should say around the championship contenders. All 5 of them want to stay out of their way, so probably racing them clean as well. Jeff Gordon back into the top 5 and 5th. He is the highest running driver, the 5 that have a chance to win the championship today. Dale Jr., we saw last he was in 11th. After starting on the pole, he did get 5 bonus points, so that is a plus for Dale Jr. So that means instead of 14th or better with those 5 bonus points, he has to finish 15th or better, as long as Martin doesn't lead a lap. It'll be interesting during the green flag pit stops who's going to try to stay out the longest to lead laps as well. Samir is going a lap down. Campbell Motorsports, welcome to the stream. Bell could win today. Bell did finish in the top 10 last year. I didn't have him as one of my sleeper picks on the predictions video, but he has potential. He's obviously in better equipment than what he ran in last year. He doesn't have that great of a track record in the Xfinity Series at this racetrack, but he's 1 for 1 in the Cup Series. He finished 8th, so 1 for 1 as far as the top 10. So I can expect him to run well. He's got track position too. He's starting 3rd, so I expect him to score some stage points. If he had a better track record, through most of his career at this racetrack in the lower series, I consider it. I'm not saying last year's 8th place finish was a fluke necessarily. And the high line is the preferred line here at this racetrack, so that's why I feel like you see those dirt car drivers or the drivers with the dirt car backgrounds run really well at Homestead. Like Larson. Maybe Chase Briscoe. A lot of people are high on him. I'm not as high on him for this weekend, but we'll see. Labonte's car is loosening up a little bit on the longer run, but it's still not that bad. He's got less than well less than a quarter of a tank of fuel. Definitely be seeing green flag pit stops very, very soon here. We keep chugging right along. This already blistering fast race pace today. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream.
Easy, buddy. That left front tire's seen some action.
Left front tire wearing out a little bit more as well, but no major problem. Kyle Petty is a major rival of Terry Labonte's, and Labonte's going to just try to get around him cleanly if he can. Kyle's probably going to try to take a swing at him. And he does in the middle of turns 1 and 2, but Labonte drives on. It's the only thing that can really get Labonte's way today is these rivals. Because other than that, he has definitely got the fastest car in the beginning of today's race. Crucial to keep it clean, that is for sure. To the outside of his teammate Joe Nemechek. Another blown engine on the inside of the track. Kenny Schrader in the 49 car. So Schrader's day and season will come to an end prematurely. It's the second driver who's blown an engine today. Looks like Labonte's only going to be able to go another lap or 2 on fuel. A 15-second lead over teammate Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. So 1, 2, 3 for Hendrick Motorsports at the front, and the 4th car of Nemechek is already a lap down in the 25 car. Not sure if these guys are going to use the access road coming to pit road or not. That'll be interesting as well. Jamie McMurray blocking Terry Labonte right now, and Labonte's just going to let him go. and try to get around him. No, he's not even going to try to get around him right now. Labonte's being very patient. He's just going to come to pit road. And a couple laps. Green flag pit stops are close. He doesn't want McMurray taking him out randomly. Our Rookie of the Year champion here in this 2003 season, Jamie McMurray. Labonte's going to go one more lap on fuel. He'll be coming to pit road the following time by, so it'll be lap 61 for when Labonte makes his first pit stop of the day. Johnson is already short pitted. Gordon's still on the racetrack. I think Gordon's going to stay out to hopefully get 5 bonus points for himself. Labonte's pitting this time, so if Gordon can stay out just one more lap, that'll be big for him. Yeah, so these drivers are going to use that access road coming into the pits. Labonte is not going to use the access road. And he'll be breaking off turn 4. Almost sped on pit road, but a great job getting there. Very narrow pit lane. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel. No adjustments for Terry Labonte in the early going of today's race. Can't wait till PS2 arrives. Hopefully it arrives soon. That's a plus. So definitely a slow pit stop for Labonte, but he should hold on to the lead. Now he's going to use the access road coming off of the pit lane, but as far as going onto the pit lane, I don't think he's going to use it. It actually looked like he was able to gain a lot of time coming into the pits by not using the access road. Maybe I'll try it once. So we got a couple other drivers staying out of the pits, maybe trying to nab 5 bonus points to keep up with Junior's 5 bonus points he's already got today. It's a battle for the championship.
The road's getting busy. Leaders are headed in. Got one down low. Trying to keep him behind you. Clear on both sides.
I thought the car was unstable late in the going, but you can definitely tell the difference with these fresh tires. Only going to make Labonte's car faster. So we have made it through green flag stops, or at least still cycling through green flag pit stops in today's race. Still a handful of drivers have to pit. Oh, man, Sadler got really loose off turn 4. Tried to go up the middle, 3 wide there for a second. Maybe he figured Labonte was going to get around those guys anyway, so it was open. He took it. Got back around Kevin LePage. It was an even slower lap car compared to Elliott Sadler, who's barely 1 lap down. First car lap down. No lucky dog, though, in the 2003 season, so he's going to have to race his way the old-fashioned way to try and get around Labonte. Oni Lassiter, welcome to the stream. I will be going live for Homestead today, yes. And Jeff Gordon stayed on the track longer than anybody else. He'll be coming onto pit road, and he has gotten himself 5 bonus points with doing that. He's going to lose a little bit of track position, but he got 5 bonus points. Yep. Going live for the actual Homestead race again today. Just like we did last Sunday with the Daytona Road Course. Dale Jarrett also stayed out of the pits, but he did not get any bonus points. Battling for that championship as well as Jarrett, as he had to pit the same time Gordon did. So all the pit stops cycled from lap 60 to lap 66. With Labonte taking his pit stop at lap 61. Johnson was the first driver to come to pit road. Kyle Button, welcome back. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Jack Sprague pulling down now in front of the 5 of Labonte. 200 laps to go here at Homestead. 1-2 for Hendrick Motorsports, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his crew had a fast pit stop as they are up to 4th place. And now, after the cycling of pit stops, he is the highest running championship contender, and he came in as the points leader. Relax on this after 6. And good for your efforts and your hard work, though. Hopefully, it will continue to pay off, and this will all reward you in the end. Or along the way, even. I'm sure we have different work environments, but I'm used to the long days, too. Not as much anymore, thankfully. But man, that last job I had, that was tough. It was definitely getting old after about a year. And that is part of why I'm not there anymore. I was like, I gotta get out of here soon. Still in the process of trying to get my sleep back, even though I haven't worked there for a few months, but man. Oh. Little mistake. Not the major. My pick for Homestead today, Kevin Harvick. Harvick's my prediction to win today's race. Check out the predictions video for more of my fantasy advice. But yeah, Kevin Harvick is my prediction to win today's race. I feel like most people are going for Denny Hamlin, and I really thought about picking Hamlin, but I wanted to kind of go different. Because the favorite doesn't win every race, and in fact, so far through the first 2 races, the favorite has not won. Hamlin's definitely been close a couple times this year already, but going with Harvick. Steve Park going to go a lap down. Final race for Steve Park. There is a lot of final races here for a lot of these drivers that are not in NASCAR 05 or any of the future games. We already mentioned most of them at least. Christian Fittipaldi, Steve Park. As far as the Cup Series goes, Jack Sprague. He's in the Truck Series in 05. Brett Bodine. Bill Elliott. Elliott probably the bigger name. Mike Skinner for the Cup Series as well. Got Kurt Busch. I don't know about that. That's going out there, though. Definitely a lot of creativity in that pick. Yeah, Kurt Busch hasn't had a great track record at Homestead. Again, you can watch my predictions video for my stats on Kurt Busch at Homestead. He's actually one of my don't-haves for fantasy this week. I do have Hamlin for the preseason predictions, though, I guess. 0 for 2 on those so far this year. Well, they didn't actually qualify. It's a random draw. So it's not like he was fast in qualifying. They randomly draw the qualifying order because of COVID again this year. Not for every race, but racetracks that have been on the schedule before. There's only 8 races they're qualifying or practicing for. So yeah, don't take the starting lineup into huge consideration when making your fantasy picks this year. I mean, you can maybe say like stage 1 that might help them. get stage points, but as far as like the race finish goes, yeah, that doesn't matter as much. Because it's not like they're going off qualifying times and like, oh, he was fast in qualifying. So yeah, starting 5th, but didn't qualify there. Well, here's Mark Martin. We haven't had a caution yet. And again, Labonte, although Martin is a championship contender, 64 points back coming into today's race. Martin had taken out Labonte in the last race at Rockingham. And there might be a good opportunity for Terry Labonte to get some payback very shortly. Harvick is great at Homestead. Better than any other driver that's in the Cup Series throughout his career. Martin's going to survive and live for another lap, it looks like. Labonte will get payback on Martin eventually today. First 2 times he's caught him, once trying to make his way through the field at the start, and now right now putting Mark Martin a lap down. Labonte couldn't get to his outside to hook him. Ravish, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was hoping by starting this race at 12:30 today, it's another earlier start time, but I wanted to get it done a lot sooner before the end of today's race compared to last week, because last week I couldn't eat in between races like I wanted to, because I literally bounced from one stream to the next in the race. Like, they were on their pace laps when I started the live stream. I maybe had like 5 minutes in between streams last week, so this week I'm hoping for at least like 20 minutes to get it done, which I should, because this race should be over before 3, and the race doesn't... I think the drop of the green flag's like right around 3:40, 3:45. I don't know the exact time for it yet, but coverage starts at 3:30. Best driver of all time. Yeah, I think it's... I mean, obviously, it's really hard to compare because of the different eras that Earnhardt and Johnson, some would consider Jeff Gordon, had more wins in a just as competitive as far as like series as what Earnhardt raced in, and yeah, he had 3 less championships, which is basically the outlier right there, but under multiple different formats for sure. So there's definitely a debate really for Petty, Earnhardt Sr., Gordon, and Johnson. That's definitely the route, the Route Mushmore, the Route Mushmore of NASCAR. No, the Mount Rushmore for NASCAR. I don't think there's a debate there that those are the 4 best, but well, okay, maybe there's a little bit of a debate because you could probably throw David Pearson in there. I guess between those 5. Pearson won 105 races, same era as Petty. Had a better winning percentage than Petty because remember, he only ran full-time for 3 seasons, and those were the 3 years he won the championship. So basically a part-time driver for the majority of his career. Still won 105 races. David Pearson could have been the king. You never know. Glad to spend another race with me. Yep, yeah, we will be live streaming that race today, as well as this one. Yeah, I wanted to save this championship race at Homestead for today, obviously with Homestead being ran, and figured it was a good day to say goodbye to this NASCAR Thunder 04 playthrough. It's been a good run, though. I do plan on having like a best of with NASCAR Thunder 04, so there will be another Thunder 04 video coming out in the next week, but It won't be a live stream or a full race.
Got one up. Number 9 is still there. You're clear. The 9 car is going
Terry
on.
Labonte is putting a beating on the field here in the first 100 laps of today's race as well as he tries to get a win. It would be his 12th of the season. If he can pull it off. And Dale Jr. is up to second place. Jr. did not look fast in that first run. He fell back to 11th before pit stops. He did lead the first 15 laps, so he might have a very strong short run car. Maybe the strongest short run car, but he definitely faded over the course of the long run. Labonte has led the most laps so far in this race. Took the lead at lap 32 and led every lap since outside of the cycling of green flag stops. There were 6 laps he didn't lead there. Jeff Gordon and a couple other drivers were able to lead. Sterling Marlin looked really fast on the long run as well. Not as fast as Labonte, but he was in second by a wide margin. Ricky Rudd was climbing through the field. Jimmy Johnson was climbing through the field. So those are probably some of the better long run cars in the early going of today's race. Sad for Jimmy's retirement. Yeah, but I think it was a good time for him to retire. You can definitely tell he had fallen way, way off from where he was, even just 3 years prior to his retirement. He was still winning races. Midway through 2017 was the slow fall, and then obviously 2018 was a big step back from 2017 and prior, and 2019 he missed the playoffs, and missed the playoffs again last year. Granted, I think he would have made the playoffs if he didn't get a positive test for COVID back in Indy, but that's needless to say, he still missed and was still right around that 15th place range as far as like competitiveness. He was just not competitive anymore. It was a sad decline, very rapid too, really. Kind of coming out of nowhere if you think about it. But we'll get to see him run some IndyCar this year. Got to see him already racing the Rolex 24, and him and his team finished second, so off to a good start there. He ran well in his stints in that race. Yeah, he didn't win a race in 2018, 2019, or 2020. Winless his last 3.5 years in the Cup Series. Crazy. I was pulling for him so hard to win any one of those races. Especially when I went to Talladega last year, I really had high hopes for him. And he got taken out in the big one. There was a couple big ones in that race, but he got taken out in the big one when Kurt Busch got airborne. It wasn't his fault. He basically got turned in the tri-oval by Boyer, who was trying to bump draft him. It's like he was pushing him even though he was loose, and then he just kept pushing him. I wish I would have had that on camera. Because, like, I can still vividly remember that, like, every little detail of that accident. It was right in front of where I was sitting. Well, it started before that, but, like, where Kurt Busch went airborne, I basically saw the roof of his car, like, right in front of me. I thought he was going through the fence, or into the fence.
Number 99 is still there.
Crazy.
Clear all around.
At least I got to see him race a couple times last season. I guess technically I'll get to see him this year at the Indy Road Course in IndyCar too. Because IndyCar and NASCAR running that doubleheader at the IndyCar race on Saturday and then the Brickyard 400 on Sunday. I'll be down there for that weekend. Loose getting into turn 1 for Terry Labonte that time. Can alternate through the different camera angles once again here today. Continuing to work through lap traffic. Kurt Busch didn't look very strong in that first run. He's up to 5th as well. Dale Jr. dropping back a spot as Marlin has gotten to second place a handful of laps ago. Jr. to 3rd. Jr. is in a more comfortable situation, but I don't think Jr. is going to be comfortable at all trying to win his first career championship until that checkered flag flies. Yeah, Kyle Busch almost flipped. I thought he was going to flip in that crash on the backstretch. Ward Burton sliding way up the track there in front of Terry Labonte. Labonte's trying to pass Ward Burton, not only to put him a lap down, but as well in the point standings, see if Terry can get a top 10 run this season. In real life, he finished 8th in the 2003 standings. We can't finish that high today. We can finish as high as 9th, though. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. Dale Jr., Sterling Marlin going back and forth as they battle for second. Closing in on lap 100. Race is flying by already today. The final race of NASCAR Thunder 04 on the channel. This is definitely a history-making moment. We might see a first-time champion as well. Whether that be Dale Jr., Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon trying to go for his 5th career title. Bobby Labonte trying to go for his 2nd. Oh, contact! Labonte's in the wall. He got hooked on Kevin Grubb and somebody else as they were 3 wide getting into turn 1. And up the track they go. We stay green, though. That was not a very comfortable moment for Terry Labonte. I'm surprised he didn't nose into the wall with the way he was getting hooked on that right rear. Go to the high side to get around the 26 part-time rookie driver Kevin Grubb. Grubb able to keep his car straight despite getting pinched in the wall and all that as well. Yep, got the Got Milk paint scheme. My favorite paint scheme we've ran this year. Cheez-It was the sentimental one because we had a lot of good luck with it. And I was wearing the Cheez-It hat through most of it, but this is my favorite Labonte scheme of this 2003 season, so that's why we're running with this one to cap it off. Oh, man. Bonnie just did not get into turn 1 well at all there. And that was probably similar to what happened when he got tight and washed up the track when he was 3 wide with those lap cars earlier as well. So you think Martin Truex Jr. is going to win the championship this year? Yeah, I think Chase Elliott's the favorite. My prediction's Chase Elliott to win the championship this season. That was my preseason prediction. Mainly because I think he's going to win majority of the road courses this year, as well as some other tracks in between. Get himself a lot of playoff points to hopefully be a big lock and a solid lock for the championship 4 again. Obviously, he won the race at Phoenix last year, so that's kind of what I was going with my predictions this season. Yeah, I haven't had a caution so far. We are caution-free. We're probably going to get one before the end of the race. Labonte has to get payback on Mark Martin at some time. It's the last race of this season played through. We have to get payback on him. After Martin crashed Labonte out of the last race at Rockingham on Thursday night. Jr. back to 2nd, Jeff Gordon up to 3rd. Marlin back to 4th, Johnson rounds out the top 5. Again, we've had 3 caution-free races so far this season. More than what we've had in really any other game combined with the Cup Series. It's so strange. We had 2 in Season 1 as well. Man, Lonnie's starting to get a little too tight in 1 and 2. He's pretty good in 3 and 4. About to slid right into almost say Kevin Harvick. Matt Kenseth getting into the corner. Kenseth, the actual 2003 champ. Not a good season for him, though, in the latter half. Led the points earlier on. Still in the top 10 in points, but he's really fell off the face of the earth here these last handful of races with a couple DNFs mixed in there. Yeah, Labonte's getting too tight in 1 and 2. I don't think he's overdriving it as much as I thought he was earlier. It's like that car just doesn't want to turn when he's tucked in behind another lap car. I'll start easing it a little bit more, see if that helps, of course.
Careful, you're getting low on fuel.
Yeah, Larson, not the greatest on super speedways. He did finish in the top 10 in the 500 this year, though, so I'll give him that.
The 22 car is outside. Clear.
He actually had a pretty good speed weeks. He was fast in the duels, too.
Car inside. Try to keep him.
Another championship contender, Bobby Labonte, going to go a lap down into turn 1.
We're clear.
A lot heavier lap traffic now around the race leader, Terry Labonte.
On five. Clear on both sides. Car inside.
Jeff Gordon, as you see, 98 points. Again, the points coming into today's race
Clear.
are just above where my camera is on the stream today, so you guys can take a look at that. Again, those are the 5 drivers that mathematically have a chance for the championship. The max amount of points you can score one race is 185, and the max amount of points that you can gain on a particular driver by having a max points day, which means leading the most laps and winning the race, and then somebody finishing last is 151. So that's why Labonte 136 back is the longest shot of winning the championship, but still mathematically has a chance.
On five. We don't want to hit.
Oh boy, that was a dangerous spot there. Forgot Kyle Petty was a rival, and he about took a swing at Labonte in a terrible spot. They were 3 wide in turns 3 and 4, and he about turned Labonte on his right rear getting into the corner. Just about.
Clear on both sides.
It's a very close call.
Car up. You let him
Tony Stewart going to go a lap down. Christian Fittipaldi held him up big time in 3 and 4. And look at the run Terry Labonte had on the bottom. Terry is bad fast. 24, nearly a 25-second lead over Dale Jr. Yeah, Kevin Harvick's going to make the playoffs this year. That's not even a prediction. I mean, that's a statement right there.
Clear.
Yeah, the race at Homestead today. Again, hence why we're racing here. Our championship race. NASCAR Thunder 2004.
Skating on you.
Terry Labonte's going to short pit a little bit earlier this run. If it does stay green all the way to the finish somehow, it shouldn't be a fuel mileage race at all. These guys are going to have to pit before the halfway point anyway.
Number 40.
So it's going to be a 4 pit stop race no matter what. Bonnie gets tight 1 and 2 again. Does pass and clear Sterling Marlin still.
Number 97, down low. Still beside you.
Terry Labonte's going to pit this time by. Can go maybe another 5 or 6 laps still, but he'll pit this time. Look at Kurt Busch down to the apron. Oh, and that caused Labonte to get tight. Contact with his teammate Jimmy Johnson. Kurt Busch absolutely sent that car into turn 1. It was on the apron, and that really took Labonte's line away. And Terry Labonte's coming to pit road. So hard to run this access road. Car's getting a little tight. So on to pit road goes Terry Labonte. 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. No adjustments with this race car this time. Ooh. What drivers do I think will make the playoffs this year? I mean, you have your outside of the usual favorites. My prediction was Stenhouse to win on a super speedway before the season started. But man, there's going to be a couple fast cars that are going to miss it this year as it was, and now you have McDowell winning the 500. I think Bell was going to make the playoffs anyway, but he was probably going to be one of those bubble drivers. I think Bubba Wallace can still get into the playoffs, but that's hoping he runs halfway decent on the road courses to at least, scrape up whatever points he can, because I don't think he's going to looking, though. Keep having these upset winners. He's going to have to win a race anyway. I don't know. New team this year. I don't see that happening. We'll see as the season goes on how strong that team actually is on the ovals. But again, that was mainly my preseason predictions. Yeah, we've seen a lot of photo finishes at Talladega recently, so that's not impossible. So Labonte, although he's short pitted, he had a big enough lead. He's still on the lead lap, about 12 seconds off the lead. And some of the other drivers have been coming to pit road the last couple laps, and we'll continue to see green flag pit stops. Once Labonte came down, it just looks like more and more drivers are starting to come down.
Number 25 is passing high. They're on both sides.
McDowell's a playoff driver.
The 4 car, up high.
I don't call his win a fluke at all. He's ran well in the super speedways in the past. He's a really good road course racer. That's why he finished in the top 10 last week at the Daytona road course. So, I mean, I'd say he's a better driver than Trevor Bayne, and Bayne won the 500. I'll put that out there. He's always been in underfunded equipment. He's never been in competitive equipment. Oh, wow, Kurt Busch. He is just absolutely stuffing his car into these corners underneath Labonte. Labonte getting a little too tight as they were already 3 wide with Jeff Burton to his outside as well as Christian Fittipaldi. Should he be in the playoffs, though, because of that win? I always said that shouldn't be a reason for getting into the playoffs, is winning. I say if you win 2 races, yeah, that guarantees you a spot. I feel like it should, but otherwise I feel like points are the only thing that should guarantee. I also say that there should be less than 16 drivers. They're going to have a playoffs. I say 12 is like that sweet spot. But, yeah, he earned his way to victory, one way or another. He's off to a good start this season. I mean, just to have back-to-back top 10s to start the year, and obviously winning the 500 as well, it's pretty good. I don't expect him to run well in the oval today because 550 package kind of, it's not going to be good for him. Let's just say that much. I'd be surprised if he gets a top 15 today. Can you imagine, though, if he gets another top 10? Somehow, like, they just have one of those, like, crazy races again today.
That's 11 on the spot. Keep moving. All clear, buddies. Some of the leaders are coming in together.
Lap car coming off of pit road here.
Still there.
Tony Stewart ducking onto pit road. Jeff Green coming out of the pits. Had that run on the bottom, and Terry Labonte just kind of followed him right on through to get around a couple more lap cars. So lead change at the line. Terry Labonte's back out in front as we have cycled through pit stops. There still might be a couple lap cars that have to pit, but as far as everybody that was on the lead lap, they're either on pit road currently or have already made their stop. Yeah, Denny Hamlin's leading the points right now. I can't remember by how many, but I know Hamlin's in the points lead. If he gets the top 10 today, I'll never call him a fluke. I'm going to hold you accountable to that, Ravish. I think honestly, again, he's a good road course racer. He could end up having. Plus, there's more super speedways. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see him get like 6 to 8 top 10s this year, which is really good for that team, for that equipment. That's really good. I think he only had 4 top 10s all of last season. So to double that in the same equipment, that'd be outstanding, really. Plus that win already. A win's a win. Whatever way you look at it. He is a Daytona 500 champion. I mean, it's one of those things, like, Denny Hamlin wins 3 Daytona 500s, and nobody calls any of those a fluke. But the minute we have a Cinderella story winner, people call it a fluke. Like, that's not a fluke. Like, you can't discredit Kurt Busch winning the 2017 Daytona 500 just because he's Kurt Busch and he's a former champion versus a guy winning for the first time. Like, there shouldn't be a difference. Because a win's a win. Now, you could say Kurt Busch's was more impressive. You know, I can agree with that, but you can't call it a fluke. Now, if it would have been rain shortened, I could see your argument there. But if it would have been like rain shortened or something like that, and we see a winner like that, like Justin Haley in the Daytona July race a couple years ago, then I'd agree with you. But yeah, you get to the end of the race, you get all the laps completed, and it's not shortened, you earn it. Jeff Green's been kind of holding up Terry Labonte these last couple laps. There are only 3 cars on the lead lap right now. Again, with Labonte short pitting, that really helped him cycle more of these drivers a lap down. Ryan Newman, Dale Jr., the only other 2 drivers on the lead lap right now. Dale Jr. trying to win his first career championship today. Yeah, but that doesn't consider it a fluke, though. The best car doesn't win every race. In any motorsport, the best car doesn't win any race because there's other factors that go along with it. It's more than just the car that can win a race. That's the whole reason it's called a Cinderella story or an underdog and not a fluke. Because the driver has to get the job done at the end of the day. Michael McDowell had to put himself in that position. He could have been taken out in the wreck earlier on. He made it through. Yes, he's fortunate and I guess lucky to make it through that first accident at lap 14. But he is not lucky to be running third in that position on the last lap of the race before that crash happened. Whether he started it, however you want to believe that wreck started, whose fault it was, he had himself in that position at the beginning, or from the start of the race to the end, he put himself there. So I would not say it's a fluke. He wasn't running 20th on the last lap and the whole wreck happened and he made it through as a winner. No, he was in third. He put himself in that position. He ran in the top 10 most of the day because of making it through that first wreck and just hanging on with that lead pack, and he was making his way through the field on pit stops. Yeah, that crew, they earned it. They earned it. Yeah, he shouldn't have won it, but I mean, it's not a fluke. I won't consider his win a fluke at all. Well, we're cross flags halfway home here in today's race. Still caution free. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Christopher Bell wasn't a fluke either. I mean, he had the second fastest car all day behind Chase Elliott, I thought.
Number 27, the 27 car is coming right. You're clear.
It doesn't matter if they go single file or not, though. He still was up in the lead pack. Like, he put himself in that position. If he would have been leading and the race would have gotten range short or something like that, or like even under caution, you know, like those are kind of fluky wins. Fuel mileage races are not fluke wins. I feel like people think that fuel mileage, like Paul Menard's 2011 win at the Brickyard was a fluke win. You won the race. You played the pit strategy right. It stayed green to the end. He won that race that day. Just like Michael McDowell won the 500. I mean, I'm never going to understand why people call it a fluke. You have to, the driver has to put himself in that position at the end of the day. He can only do as much as the equipment will let him majority of the time, but you can outshine that equipment like McDowell did that day. Even though it was Daytona, but still. Dale Jr., final driver. On the lead lap, outside of course, the race leader Terry Labonte. Jr., one of the championship front runners, is in second. How's Miami in the banking compared to Charlotte? I'm not sure what the degrees of banking are on both tracks. I would think it's pretty similar. The track is completely different, though, with the way these straightaways are straighter here than what they are at Charlotte. Not as long as well. Longer straightaways causing for a little bit faster track in Miami. A lot wider of a racetrack as well compared to Charlotte. So Terry Labonte has lapped the field. Lap 140 at the line as Dale Jr. now has gone a lap down. Still 2 more pit stops left the rest of this race as we're just under halfway. We're going to take the time to pause it to see where all the championship runners are at right now, all 5 of them. So again, we know that Dale Jr. is in second. He has led 17 laps today, so 5 bonus points for him. Terry Labonte has led the most. He has led 98 up to this point. So Terry might very well be on his way to leading the most laps. Dale Earnhardt Jr., though, leading of the championship front runners. Jeff Gordon running 4th. He was 98 points behind Jr. coming into the day, as you see on the screen as well on the left side. Bobby Labonte, the long shot to win the title, hasn't led a lap. Jeff Gordon also has 5 bonus points, by the way, just like Jr. Gordon's led 9 laps today. Labonte, no bonus points, but is in 8th. Dale Jarrett, 12th. He's been pretty much outside the top 10 all day. Also no bonus points. And Mark Martin is running 19th. Terrible day for Mark Martin. So that is where the championship runners are at currently in this race. I'm trying to think of like another instant where somebody won the Daytona 500. that most people wouldn't consider a fluke in a similar instance of how McDowell won the race and didn't have the fastest car. I guess Jimmy Johnson, 2013. They ran single file for most of that race. I don't think he could say he had the fastest car. You look at how fast Junior was on the last lap, basically creating a run himself. You could probably argue that Junior had the best car and Johnson won the race. It's not a fluke. But because it's Jimmy Johnson, and he's a 7-time champ, and he won another Daytona 500 before, I guess most people wouldn't consider that a fluke. And he's got equipment like, something like that. That's not fair. Not fair to Michael McDowell to say it's a fluke just because he was the one that won it. Or, for instance, Jamie McMurray. Jamie McMurray was in Spire Motorsports equipment this week. But we know Jamie McMurray is a really good driver. He's proven good on the super speedways because he's won multiple times. If he would have went to victory lane, I don't think anybody would have called that a fluke. Because he's won races before. That's not fair. That's just not fair to Michael McDowell. And McMurray still finished in the top 10, too. That just wouldn't be fair. I'm ending my argument right there. That's my final statement on that. I won't talk about that. Whether I can persuade you or not. I mean, it is an interesting conversation, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Yeah, Jamie McMurray, he won in 2010, not 2009. Yeah, Matt Kenseth won in 2009. Jamie McMurray won the 500 in 2010. But yeah, you can consider that too. I mean, just because he's a good super speedway racer doesn't mean it wasn't a fluke. He won other races too. Yeah, Bell's not a bubble driver anymore. Who's underrated? I don't know. Tristan Games, welcome to the stream, by the way. Can't wait to see 100 viewers on the channel. I know. That day, hopefully. Again, we don't know if we're going to get there. Hopefully that would happen. Leave it to me to be... It's a good debate, though. I'm all for having those debates from time to time. I'm not one to get heated either, so... I can handle constructive criticism, stuff like that. You bring the facts and the evidence to the table, heck, I mean, you can persuade me some of the times, too. By all means, I'd love to be persuaded, but I don't see myself being persuaded on McDowell having a fluke win in the 500. I don't see that as being persuasive. But as far as the underrated drivers go, I don't think Eric Jones gets enough credit for what he does and being demoted. He should be in far better equipment. The man's won 2 career races. He won the Southern 500, for crying out loud. That guy, you win at Darlington, you know how to drive a stock car. And the fact he did it in the Cup Series and held off at the time Kyle Busch, who was the eventual champion that year, and arguably one of the best in NASCAR today. I mean, come on. He knows how to race. He should be in better equipment. Eric Jones is probably the most underrated driver. I think Almirola is another underrated driver. Almirola doesn't win a lot, but just because you don't win doesn't mean you're not a good racer. He's doing a good job in that equipment. He's only got 2 career wins, both on super speedways, but he's been threats to win on non-super speedways before. I mean, last season he had 6 straight top 5s in the summer months at one point. So, yeah, I think Almirola is another one of those guys. Eric Jones way more of a underrated driver though. Jones is probably the most underrated in the Cup Series. Bill Elliott has been blocking up Terry Labonte pretty aggressively on that outside. He's trying to get underneath him, but because Christian Fittipaldi was kind of in the way, Labonte was never able to do it.
He's still there. All clear, buddy.
Can alternate through the different camera angles once again here today. We are closing in to nearly the final 100 laps of our final full race live stream on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Unbelievable. The most overrated driver. So I feel like overrated in NASCAR is somebody that was given good equipment for a decent period of time and was not able to perform in it. That's kind of what I consider. That's why I would say Danica Patrick is probably like the most overrated of all time. And the only reason she was, in that car was for sponsorship. We all know that. But as far as like currently in the Cup Series, I'd have to think about that here for a second. I'm trying to think of guys that are in competitive equipment that shouldn't be there. I mean, that's the problem, though, with Eric Jones, is that there's not enough competitive cars for him to run. And that's why he doesn't have a run. I'd say William Byron right now, honestly. If I had to pick the most overrated currently, I'd say William Byron. But that's not necessarily William Byron's fault. I think he was rushed to Cup way too quickly. If he would have had another year or two in the Xfinity Series, I think William Byron would be a completely different driver than what you see right now. And he could be a late bloomer. He could end up, like, next year winning 3 races out of nowhere. I'm not going to rule that out of the question, but I think currently, this is his 4th season in Hendrick Motorsports equipment, and his only win was in Daytona in July last year. We're talking about a guy that just won the championship racing for that same team last season. And has won 10 races in that stretch. And Bowman's won a couple races even. Kyle Larson's contended for a win in his first 2 races in that equipment already. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely not sold on William Byron. Well, the number doesn't have anything to do with it.
Number 15 is blowing them off on you.
Because it's actually not the same team. Remember, Chase Elliott's got the same team that Jeff Gordon had. Technically, that would be like Casey Kane's team that William Byron's got. Oh, Waltrip takes a swing at Labonte in turns 3 and 4. Forgot he was a rival until he got alongside Labonte there. So Terry's going to try to race him into turn 1 and stay away from Waltrip. See if Waltrip can maybe get back under him and take another shot at him. And I don't think he will. Yeah, that's the main issue, though, with Byron. He was rushed. He was in the Cup Series at the age of 19. He won a lot in the Truck Series, so him being rushed to Xfinity after 1 year of Truck, he won, 6 races in the Truck Series? Oh, and Labonte into Wallace. Contact with Joe Nemechek as well. Hairy moment for the race leader, Terry Labonte. Getting tight into Kenny Wallace. Joe Nemechek got a piece of it. Waltrip right there again.
Number 15 is all over you, back bumper. The 25 car is out left. Right front's wearing down. Keep an eye on it.
Oh, man. Well, this is not a good spot for Terry Labonte, and he's just going to back immediately out of the gas to give that spot to Michael Waltrip. And now he's going to try to duck back under him real quick. Nemechek slid up the racetrack right in front of Michael Waltrip, held them both up, and Labonte gets by both. Great jive by Terry Labonte trying to stay away from Michael. Can Labonte win this season finale here in 2003? The only thing with Austin Dillon is he has won 3 races. Strategy or not, he has won 3 races. I'd say Byron's a little bit... I don't know. That's tough. And he has been in the Cup Series a lot longer than Byron. But he's not in as good of equipment as William. That's the comparison there, too. So that RCR doesn't have as good of equipment as Hendrick Motorsports. It's a toss-up. It really is between Austin Dillon or William Byron. I'd probably say Byron's a little bit... If William Byron doesn't win a race this season, especially on a non-super speedway, then I think that would be straight up that Byron's the most overrated driver in the Cup Series right now. But Austin Dillon is definitely a toss-up pick currently. Terry Labonte's just clinched the most laps led at the start-finish line. 10 bonus points for him. Again, Terry trying to claw back into the top 10 in the standings in this season finale today at Homestead. Yeah, well, when Dale Sr. was racing the 3 car, that was, I mean, that's a lot different equipment than what Childress has now. I think you look outside of being one of the, like Kevin Harvick, for instance, he was getting everything he could out of Richard Childress racing equipment and really only contended for a title maybe 1 or 2 years in his 13 seasons there. So I don't think you can really compare the equipment that even he had to Austin Dillon, what he's got now, because when Dillon was there, or I should say when Dillon took over, I mean, there was nobody else on that RCR team that was running well. Jeff Burton wasn't really running well at the back end of his career. Newman made it to the championship 4. He was kind of overachieving in that equipment, but he didn't win a race. Didn't contend for a lot of wins either. Labonte might be able to get payback on Mark Martin now, and he turns it. First caution of the day. One of the championship contenders, Mark Martin, going to go around as they race back to the caution flag. Payback from last race. Terry Labonte got taken out by Mark Martin in the late going. And Labonte gets his payback on Martin here today at Homestead. Back down into the grass as Martin goes another lap down. Nobody else was involved. Kind of the way that Labonte wanted to do it. Yeah, they're not rushing Cindric to Cup Series, so that's good. They didn't really rush. I can't think of anybody else who's been rushed like Byron was recently. Like taking a competitive ride after only like 1, maybe 2 seasons in the Xfinity Series. He ran well in the Xfinity Series, but I still think he needed another year or 2. So pit stops are going on. Everybody is coming to pit road. Labonte, the only driver on the lead lap at the time into that caution. And again, that was the first of the day with just over 100 laps to go. A couple guys going to beat Labonte off of pit road, but again, they are multiple laps down, if not at least one lap down. Dale Jr. loses a bunch of spots on pit road. Back to 7th, Jeff Gordon will be in 2nd place on the restart. Green flag back in the air at Homestead. 96 laps to go. And Labonte stuck on the outside, did not take off on the restart either. Boy, if we get a quick caution, that'd be huge. It's still a one-stop race to the finish for everybody. Little contact. Johnny Benson. Labonte trying to pull in line in front of Harvick. Harvick won at Las Vegas in NASCAR 05 yesterday, leading the final 2 laps of that race. Oh, caution! Debris on the track, and Jeff Gordon is in prime position. Labonte trying to get around Ward Burton. And we have a race again, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd caution for debris. I didn't think Mark Martin had enough damage for debris, but I guess he did. I didn't realize Labonte gave him that much damage. Piece of the back bumper fell off of Martin's car. And Jeff Gordon there's the points as we run. Jeff Gordon 70 back. He came in 90 back of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Green flag back in the air, but now Gordon's on the lead lap where Jr. is not. Jeff Burton also on the lead lap. Oh, Labonte! Way too wide in turn 1. He overdrove it. I mean, he was trying to stay on the gas anyway. Dale Jr. side by side with the guy he's racing for the championship, and that's Jeff Gordon. Gordon starting to slide back as Labonte trying to get around him for the lead. Gordon desperately wants to win this race. And he's going to need Junior to fall back a lot more as well. Because Dale Jr. still in the top 10 despite being a lap down. Labonte to the inside. Luckily the apron hooks a lot more in this game than what it does in NASCAR 05. Labonte took it 3 wide underneath Bobby Labonte, his brother, as well as Dale Jr. Jr. is shown in 7th right now. Should get around Bobby Labonte off of turn 2 for 6th. Good run for Johnny Benson in his final race on the channel, in the Cup Series at least. Loose into turn 3 for Terry. Still gets around Johnny Benson. Ward Burton trying to block and hold on to the lead lap. Maybe we get another debris caution or a wreck with everybody bunched together after that restart. Labonte underneath Ward Burton now. Dale Jr. to 5th, getting around Johnny Benson. Ward Burton barely hanging on the outside. Oh, little contact. Labonte drove it in a little too deep. Junior closing in behind. Labonte blocks Ward Burton down the back straightaway now. Clears him into turn 3. Dale Jr. for 4th place underneath Ward Burton. Jr. wants to get back on the lead lap. Labonte slightly overdriving 1 and 2. Gets back down to the bottom in the center of the corner in front of Junior this time, trying to hold him a lap down still. And again, still a 1 pit stop race to the finish. Dale Jr. is in prime position to win the championship. Even if he could just finish in the top 10, he will lock it up. Running 5th right now. Sorry, 4th rather, is a good run. Junior goes a little wide in 1 and 2 now. Bobby Labonte looks underneath him for 4th.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with
Yeah, he's probably playing. You're right, Ravish. He is probably playing with Hot Wheels or NASCAR diecast as we speak, waiting for his dad to hop in the car today.
Best place for him is in your rear view.
Maybe he's got an RC car he's toying around with right now. Ricky Rudd did the inside of Dale Jr. Is Jr. maybe going to look to drop back? We saw Jr. fell back as far as 11th earlier in the race. Wasn't paying enough attention there. Ricky Rudd on the charge, much like he was at the beginning of the race when he drove up to 2nd. 3rd, rather. Ricky Rudd up to 4th place. Has not won this season. Trying to get back on the lead lap as he passes Bobby Labonte. And Dale Jr. over the last couple laps as well. I'm looking at the chat. That's why I keep hitting the wall down the straightaways. That's the 2nd straightaway in a row I've done it. Rudd tries to go to the high side. Again, there's just not enough grip up there on this track. This new configuration at Homestead for this 2003 season. And Kyle Busch. We were just talking about Brexton. I called Bobby Labonte Kyle Busch because I saw the 18 car. That's Bobby Labonte. Yeah, we're in the 2003 season. Not 2021.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with Number 18 is right behind him.
Bobby's got the pressure on his brother, trying to get back on the lead lap again. Terry a little tight, turns 1 and 2. And Bobby Labonte could not make the move yet. Yeah, again, coverage for the race starts at 3:30 today. That's when we'll be starting our live stream. We'll be at 3:30. We'll do a little watch along / realistic broadcast of that race once again, just like we did last week. So, Bobby Labonte to the inside of Terry. Terry gets tight in 1 and 2 again. Up the track he goes, and Bobby's going to easily clear him. Ricky Rudd now to the inside.
Number 18 isn't going to let you by easily. They're on both sides.
And although Bobby is a long shot to win the title anyway, he can still go out trying to win the final 2 races of the season. It's still been a successful year.
The 18 car is blocking.
Time for the second most wins with Matt Kenseth with 3 so far. We've had 18 different winners this year as well coming into this race.
Still beside you. Careful. Okay, we're clear. I'd like to see him stay back there. The 18 car is coming up quick.
Jeff Gordon, 3.5 seconds off the lead in the highest running of the 5 drivers battling for the championship. He is still behind Junior as far as the points go, though. He was 98 back coming into the day, so he's going to need a little bit of help on top of a good performance. He and Junior both have 5 bonus points as well, so they kind of cancel each other out there. Junior has not led since leading the first 15 laps of the race after starting on the pole. Gordon has led only during green flag pit stops. And he led a couple laps on that last restart as well, jumping out in front of Terry Labonte. We've had 2 cautions today. One down the back straightaway for Labonte turning Mark Martin, getting his payback on him. After Martin had crashed Terry Labonte out of our race at Rockingham on Thursday night, right here on NASCAR Thunder 2004, and then debris a couple laps after that restart was our second caution of the night, and it was off the back bumper of Mark Martin as well. Yes, Ryan Blaney is my favorite driver. I figured I get that question probably more than any other question, and I've had the flag up, as Ravish just pointed out, behind me for about a month now. Before the start of the season, I had it up. So at least 2 or 3 weeks, and I still get that question every couple times. Yeah, Ryan Blaney's my favorite driver currently. Terry Labonte still looking for that 12th win and pulling away. He's had the fastest car by far today. It's short run, long run, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's fast from the word go. Dale Jr. is outside the top 5. We'll pause it again down the back straightaway here to take a look at where all 5 championship runners are at currently. Oh. Why isn't it pausing? Hang on. We'll do it next lap. I was trying to pause it. It wasn't pausing. So I got out of the gas a little bit there thinking it was paused. I think nobody was putting pressure on us from behind. All right, there we go. Yeah, we'll take a look at the race stats. So Terry Labonte's led 153 laps so far. Again, 3 drivers on the lead lap, 2 cautions total today. Jeff Gordon's got 5 bonus points. Dale Jr.'s got 5 bonus points. They're battling for the championship currently as we run, and I'll look at it here. I'll actually pull my calculator out and see where Jeff Gordon has to, or I should say where Dale Jr. has to finish, depending on where Gordon is currently running. Again, Jr. is in 7th, as you see. Trying to figure out how I'm going to do this math here for a second. So 98 points behind him, I guess. So 175 minus 98. 77. So to win the championship, if Jeff Gordon wins the race, then Dale Jr. has to finish 28th. So where Gordon's running 2nd right now, if Jeff Gordon finishes in 2nd place behind his teammate Terry Labonte, then that means Dale Jr. would have to finish 30th to win the championship. So it is not going to be easy for Gordon, and he's going to need help, but it is not impossible. Terry could always wreck Dale Jr., help his champion. I don't think I should do that. I really don't... Don't give me any ideas, Ravish. I'm not going to do that. Dale Jr. has earned this chance at the championship. Only one win for Jr. this year. It's come late in the season at Charlotte. About 4 races ago. We'll have 60 laps to go this time by, so that pit window will open up. If Dale Jr. is smart, he takes this run to the very end. He does not short pit at all. But I'm sure you're going to see some guy short pit very soon. So again, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as long as he finishes 29th or better, assuming Jeff Gordon finishes second, Jr. is going to win this championship today. Team Orders, yeah. I don't know if we're going to catch Jr. We'd have to back out of it. I guess Team Orders would say let Jeff Gordon win the race. With him running in second, that would be an easy team order. If we were playing it realistically, which we do these realistic commentary / broadcasts with it, I guess you could say that we would let Gordon win, but I'm only going to even consider that as if Dale Jr. does somehow fall back, which he could blow an engine. He blew an engine at Kansas late in the season, and that was 1.5 miles and a 400-mile race too. You could see him blow an engine today. Blew an engine at Chicagoland earlier this year too on 1.5 miles, so Jr. has blown engines on 1.5 miles a couple times. But he has been fast on them when he has not blown an engine, like winning at Charlotte as we mentioned. 200 laps complete at the start-finish line this time. Sorry, that pit window is not open yet. We have 70 laps to go. Now we have 67. I was just talking. So that window is about to open up here in a couple laps. These drivers have just under half a tank of fuel. But again, it's a one-stop race to the finish no matter what. Put the time into those 2 cautions. Labonte enjoying the clean air.
You should be about halfway on fuel.
8-second lead, 8.5 roughly. Back to Jeff Gordon. And again, Jeff Burton with a good run in third. Jeff Burton also hasn't won yet this season. Had a lot of drivers that have won, though. Gordon's got 2 wins himself so far this year. Both of them, though, in the first half of the season. And for the final time ever, on NASCAR Thunder 2004, we're going to alternate through the different camera angles. I guess for Terry Labonte's sake, he's hoping that this thing stays green to the finish. And he'll have this race won. Came in with the fastest car. Might have to catch a couple more rivals today as far as lap traffic goes if it stays green to the end, but he's already gotten his payback on Martin. He's looking to keep this clean to the finish. $11 people watching right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Green flag pit stops are going on for the final time. We're seeing pit stops with this NASCAR Thunder 04 playthrough. Unbelievable. Every time we get to those situations, it's going to be the last of everything. And now we're on the final pit stops. Labonte tries to get back into lap traffic again as he's putting Kevin LePage another lap down currently. All clear. Dale Jr. in 5th, but some of the drivers ahead of him have already pit. Again, if Dale Jr. is smart, he stays out the longest. Last thing he wants is to get trapped multiple laps down. He's already 1 lap down, but if he gets trapped another couple laps down, if a caution comes out in the middle of green flag pit stops because he tried to short pit compared to Jeff Gordon, that is going to be crazy for one, and then for two, one of the biggest mistakes that team could have made all year. Can I beat you online? I don't know. The way NASCAR Heat works online, though, it's, especially like if you're in public lobbies, it's basically a wreck fest every race. So just trying to survive that is one thing. Straight up, I trust my own abilities, especially with the newer games. Got a really good hang of NASCAR Heat. Controller, steering wheel, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what track either. I think Dale Jr. might have hit pit road. He wasn't 4th. Rudd might have passed him straight up again. But now Dale Jarrett's shown in 5th, so I believe Dale Jr. has hit the pits. I don't know why he would pit this early, but he has. I can't imagine if a caution comes out. It's been a pretty tame championship battle in today's race in particular, but I don't think it would be if a caution came out right now. That would be insane. Yeah, Atlanta's probably my best track on the NASCAR Heat games too. Especially Heat 4. Well, at least Gordon's kind of doing the right move and just trying to stay on the lead lap by not short pitting himself. And these guys could probably take it to right around 30 to 35 laps to go at the very most before they have to pit again. It's amazing how tame this race is compared to the last 2 races. On NASCAR Thunder 2004, basically wreckfest at both Phoenix and Rockingham. We're setting up for a wild championship battle with 5 drivers having a shot today, but it's been pretty tame so far outside of the 2 cautions. One for debris and then a single car spin. That's it. Nobody else involved. Dale Jr. is just hoping that he doesn't get a caution in the middle of this breakup with the green flag stops. And he's hoping that that engine can just make it to the end of this race. 50 laps to go very shortly here.
Your right front tire's wearing down. Try another line or you won't last. Careful, you're getting low on fuel.
About a quarter of a tank of fuel left for Terry Labonte. So again, about another 15 laps or so he can run. He's been able to go about 61 laps on a full fuel run today. Again, team orders might say, let Jeff Gordon win this race. For Hendrick Motorsports, with Gordon having that shot at his 5th title today. But if Junior is in position to win the championship, regardless of Gordon finishing 1st or 2nd, it's only a 5-point difference. Gordon came in 98 back. If that's not going to change anything, Labonte's just going to cruise on and try to get this win for himself. That'd be the only way I'd consider letting Jeff Gordon get on by. Nobody beats us. Is that like on iRacing? I guess he would race there. Isn't that like a quarter mile? I know it's a short track that like the K&N, well, now the Arkham Nard series, East and West race on, but I know K&N raced there. Modifieds probably raced there too.
38 car is still there. Take it easy.
Hey, that's home of where the Burtons grew up. Ward and Jeff Burton. South Boston, Virginia. Bonnie's definitely getting looser on this older run. Air pressure builds, tires continuing to wear. These Evernham cars have been giving Terry Labonte some tough luck in trying to put him a lap down. We saw it with Bill Elliott earlier. Labonte gets loose again. Looks like a couple lap cars way up ahead off turn 4 makes slight contact. There's some sparks flying. Not sure who it was that got together. Oh, and Petty just turned the race leader. Oh, man, up and over. Terry Labonte just got drilled. Unbelievable turn of events as Petty just came down into turn 3 and hooked.
Wow, you know, you're right. That was an incredible.
Labonte, that had to have been the most massive hit we have ever seen.
Jerry Labonte didn't have
That almost scared me.
I hate it for those guys too.
Labonte was backing down the bank into the racetrack as they had to race back to the start-finish line trying to get out of the way, and Elliott Sadler was there and absolutely destroyed both race cars.
Should be interesting. interesting next time they get next to
Unbelievable. Kyle Petty, multiple laps down.
We could see some sparks fly.
This is
With
it for the
Labonte
exciting
out to a,
now.
what, about a 12-second
Again,
lead
another exciting NASCAR Winston Cup race
with less
real
than
soon.
50 laps to go. Wow, that's a hard hit. Right in the driver's side door. We need to find that replay again. What a tough way to end the season for Terry Labonte, but he just chalk up another DNF that was not his fault onto the list. He came to pit road. 159, 223. This might have been it right here. Oh my gosh, that's like the only replay we have of it. Hang on. There we go. This might be a little bit better. We'll go slow motion here. I'll keep advancing it. Lap 223. Oh, this is going to be... Oh my gosh. Oh, that was Bodine that went up and over too. Let's take another look at that. If it's a Kyle Petty to wreck the leader out of the race. Oh, this might be the best angle here. Again, this is in slow motion. Wow. Yeah, Bodine goes up and over 2. Sadler goes up and over 3 cars on their lids. Kenny Walls splitting all 3 of them. While Labonte was leading. We'll advance it. We'll watch it in full speed one more time. Shield your eyes. Oh. Is there a way to rewind it? Probably not. We'll get right back to it. We'll watch it from full speed. We'll try to find a better camera angle here. There's not a lot of good ones. I don't know what the best angle is. We don't really have a great one outside of that slow-mo replay we had. So I guess this is it. No, well, hit the wrong... I meant to hit on pause. We'll get back there. That's okay. There we go. Well, this is going to be it. Shield your eyes. Or don't. This is normal speed. In flames. Well, again, we weren't going to win the championship anyway, but obviously we wanted to try and win this final race of NASCAR Thunder 04, and that's just been the bad luck Labonte's had in the second half of the season. Not sure how we were rivals in the first place with Kyle Petty, but we were. And this, now here's the interesting thing, is that we have a champion to crown. That might have very well randomized the finishing order. Dale Jr. could have finished outside the top 30. We're going to take a look. Well, never mind. He finished third. So, anticlimactic there. Dale Jarrett will go on to win. He had a shot at the championship, did all he could. He wins the race. Only 3 cautions today for 11 caution laps, 17 lead changes. But Dale Jarrett will get the win. Tony Stewart second. And our 2003 champ, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Unbelievable. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a champion in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. For this 2003 season, our Season 1 champ, Ryan Newman, finishes 4th. Matt Kenseth, 5th. Ricky Rudd, 6th. Ricky Craven, 7th. Jeff Gordon, 8th. Jeff Burton, 9th. And Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 10. Wanted to be able to eat. Yeah, but I would have rather gotten to the end of this race and saw the actual championship unfold and not crash out of it with just over 40 laps left. 180 laps led today for Terry Labonte. So we had 4 drivers DNF. Jerry Nadeau, Kenny Schrader, Rusty Wallace, and then Labonte all DNF today. If only real life, man, if only real life, I don't think Labonte would have lived through that. These Gen 4 cars, that hard of a hit? Barrel rolling in flames. That might have been the worst crash. No, I still think the Kenny Wallace crash at Texas was probably worse, but that was probably second worst, and it came in the very last race of the channel. We're going to take a look at the season standings as a whole here before we get out of here, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the new champ. Unbelievable. If only real life Junior winning the... Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins. Dale Jarrett actually jumped from 4th in the standings to 2nd with that win today. By 110 points, Dale Jr. is the champion, so he increased his points lead by basically almost double what he had over Mark Martin, which was 64 points going into the day. Martin did not have a good day throughout. Jeff Gordon had a good day, finished 9th. Dale Jarrett got the win, with Dale Jr. finishing 3rd, leading a couple laps along the way with 5 bonus points, easily clinches the title. Bobby Labonte came in 5th in points. He finishes 5th. Jeff Burton, with a good run today, finishes 6th in the point standings. Tony Stewart 7th, Matt Kenseth 8th, Ryan Newman 9th, and Ward Burton with a miracle run this season, rounding out the top 10 in points. And Terry Labonte came in 11th and finishes 11th. So we did worse than what we did last season. Matt Kenseth won the actual 2003 championship. Yeah, he finished 8th here in this one. And our Season 1 champ, as mentioned, Ryan Newman finishes 9th. Does not go back-to-back. So Terry Labonte gets it done in 11th. No, Dale Jr. does end up winning the championship. For DEI, he had a good season. The most consistent, only 1 win on the year, but that's all it took. So thanks everybody for watching here today. Anticlimactically, we get to the end of this championship run, and unfortunately, obviously, we did not have a shot going into the day. I really wish we could have won that race. We should have won. And Kyle Petty had other thoughts on that idea. So tough break. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll be live streaming the Cup Series race at Homestead, so that'll be a lot of fun. So tune in for that one. That's pretty much all I've got. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys in a little bit. And have a good next half hour or so before we get that underway. Also, it's been a fantastic playthrough. I guess I have to throw that in there. One way or another, even though we didn't win a single championship, that was still a lot of fun. I do have plans for Thunder 04 coming back to the channel, but we will not be doing full race live streams with a realistic commentary if we do that. So, and again, it'll be down the line, likely down the line before we get back to this gameplay on the channel. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.